There's Alonso, who's walked and hit into a fielder's choice, and he drives one the other way. Smith is going to have to play this on a hop. Ground ball toward the middle of the diamond. Lopez can't get it as it slicks on by. Again, the 3-2. In the air, deep right center, back toward the gap. Myers near the wall, and it's out of here! Pete Alonso, grand slam! 1-2 to Alonso with Soto at first. And he smacks one toward the gap in right center field. That's going to split him and go to the wall. Soto on his way to third. It's dug out by Sanoja. Soto being waved home. The throw to the plate by Lopez, and Soto slides in safely.
He's be laying off pitches that he was not laying off last season.
He drives this one to left field. That's going to be over the head of the left fielder and bouncing up against the wall. Alonso heads for second. And Alonso drives one deep center field. Sanoja back, takes a look, and it's out of here! Pete Alonso ties the game! LSU. 1-2 to Alonso, and he lifts one out to right field, chasing Rodin back to the warning track, and it's out of here! Pete Alonso goes the other way.
Ball away.
He hits it hard, past the diving Bichette into left center. Singer being waved around third. He'll score the first run of the game. Soto goes to third. To work in this series up in the Toronto pen. And Alonso lines a base hit to left, so Pete's on base for the third string.
Let's see what he wants to throw.
Throws the breaking ball, and Pete lines it into center field for a base hit. Made 2 outs, but the second one was a scorching line drive to left, and he lines this one toward the left field corner. That hits off the wall. Soto goes to third. He's going to have to stop there. 3-2 coming to Alonso. And Pete pops one up into shallow right. Tracking it through the wind is Stowers, and he can't get it. It's a fair ball. It bounces up against the padding. And by the way, that's lined toward the gap in left center field, and that's going to clear the bases. Acuna scores. Sanger scores. Here comes Soto. He will score. Myers giving up just one hit. And Pete pulls one. Fair ball. It goes off the tarp. Karam's out to Conine. Every single one of them right. Alonso flies one to shallow center. Blade coming on, but it'll drop in front of him for a base. Drives this one out to left center field, back in the gap. Blade won't get there. It hops up against the wall and stays in play. Soto being waved around third. He heads home. The throw by Wilson. In the Fanatics Sportsbook app. Driven in the air to deep left field. Back goes left fielder and Duhar, and it's out of here. Home run he's ever hit. That hits it hard into left field for a base hit. Acuna around third. He'll score easily. Alonso with an RBI. LYU Brooklyn. And Pete lines one to center field. Coming on is Buxton. He'll have to play it on the hop base. Adam Hammery rounding out the crew. And Alonso lofts one to deep left center. Back in the gap. Looking up is Buxton. And it's out of here. Into the bullpen. First inning, his 5th of the year. And he shoots one over the first base bag. That'll be a fair ball going down into the corner. And Pete heads for second as it's dug out by Kersey.
You know, Keith, the reason we were talking to Jeremy Hefner about this.
Alonso lines a base hit into center field, and so Pete stays high. And Alonso rips one down the line. That's a fair ball going to the corner. Lindor around second on his way to third. It sticks in the corner for Bader, and Lindor is going to come all the way around to score.
That's first baseman. Fly ball center field. That is off the wall, and it'll be extra bases for Alonso. Thinks about rounding second, and there he goes. Pete Alonso trying for a triple, and he's in there sliding.
Run prevention is a wonderful drug. This to left center field, again doused by Alonso. Up an alleyway, here comes Soto, and what a tandem they are.
There's no doubt about it.
Oh my, that ball is tortured by Pete Alonso.
Alonso lines one into center for a base hit. Soto turns third. Hill's come in to score. Pete gets a curveball and lofts it into left field for a base hit. How often a pitcher gets pulled after 2 innings in a 2-1 game? That's lined into left center for a base hit for Alonso. After very little minor league experience. Pete lines one toward the left field line. That's a base hit. It'll go back to the wall. Lindor's in to score. Alonso heads for second. He's in sliding with an arm. And Pete lofts one to right center field. Cutting over in the gap. Stevenson, he won't get it. Lindor's in with the tying run. Alonso in at second base. Locking it up their system last year. That's taken the other way, and Alonso's got a base hit. Lindor pulls in at second for the Mets. That's pulled toward the hole. Abrams with a nice stop. Soto gets back to second, and Alonso's safe at first. Alonso with the infield in, second and third, nobody out. And he hits one up the middle. That'll drive in Lindor. Here comes Soto around third. He'll stop there and win. Eduardo Salazar on to pitch. Pete Alonso first pitch swinging. Rolls one slowly to third, and Tena season is just starting to get their money's worth. He takes one the other way past the diving Smith and into right field. And Pete rockets one to deep left. Forget that. That is way out of here. Pete Alonso puts one into orbit. And slugging percentage. What a start. Hits one on the ground. That'll be a base hit into right field.
Emphasis it was this offseason. He works on it every day. He sees the pitches deeper and ultimately gets base hits as well, of course.
2-2. And Pete hits one out to center field. Back goes Scott to the warning track. Back at the wall. It's out of here. Pete Alonso flips the game. So the league's leading hitter coming into the day. Who had that on their depth chart? Fly ball deep right center. Back in the gap goes Scott near the wall, and it's off the base of the fence. And Alonso has struck again. So here's Alonso, doubled his first time up, and he rockets this one down the left field line. That'll go back to the wall. Soto digging for third. Donovan plays it off the wall. Soto will be held at third by Mike Sarbaugh.
Knowledge of the strike zone, too.
He rockets this one into left for a base hit, and that'll bring in a run. Taylor comes home to score.
Stadium and the dome. Oh, boy.
Pete hits one out of sight to left field. Forget that. That is way, way out of here. Pete Alonso strikes for his 9th home run of the year. Probably asked him to finish this game the way it's going. And Alonso rips one into left for a base hit. Pete's just
first time in his career he's given up 4 in a game. Boom, down the line, that's a fair ball. It hits off the tarp and dives. Alonso heads for second. Hat makes an off-balance throw, not in time. 34 for Horton. Alonso with a good swing on a ball, and he gets a base hit back up the middle.
4 and 5 hitters due up. And Alonso drills one to left field. Suzuki won't get this one. Cuts it off on the warning track. Alonso heads to second. There's Alonso with Acuna at second, and he pulls one toward the hole off the glove of Hayes. Here comes Acuna. He's going to try to score. Connor Falefa's throw to the plate. He is safe, and the Mets take the lead. Waiting on deck. And Alonso pulls one toward the left field line. Canario races over, can't get it. Plays it on a hop. Alonso's going to try for 2. Canario's throw, and he is out. Closer as Lindor continues to dance. And Alonso rips one into left field for a base hit. Lindor turns third. He'll come home with the tying run. They didn't win the NBA championship last night, did they? That's driven toward left center field. That's going to be up the gap. It's going to go back to the wall. Alonso digging for second as Bellinger pulls it up. And Pete cracks one to deep left field. Back toward the monster and off the wall. Alonso heads for second. The throw by Durant may get him, and Pete is out. No, he's safe.
I'm on my way. I'm forgetting things.
Alonso rips one to the left for a base hit.
1-on-1 out. Pete Alonso at the plate. Alonso flies this ball to left center field. That's going to find the perfect home in the gap. Soto goes first to third. Homering in both games. Off the hands, into right, and the second hit of the game for Alonso.
Alonso now. He swings, drives one to left field, and the polar bear has put the Mets back on top.
Not going. Line drive, right center field. That's down for a base hit. And then he is called out for passing. And Alonso drives one to center. Taylor eases back near the wall, and it's out of here.
They had such a big season. They're going to need every bit of them.
Pete Alonso greets Bryce Wilson with a drive to the gap in left center. That rolls to the wall to bring in Nimmo.
We'll find it again, and the team collectively has been struggling.
Finds one to the gap in right center, and that'll go up the gap and all the way to the wall. And Alonso to second base for the Mets in the third. And he pulls one over the bag. That's a fair ball. It hits off the sidewall. Difficult inning. And Alonso hits one in the air to deep right field. Back goes Freeman to the warning track near the wall. It's out of here. Pete Alonso goes the other way for a 3-run homer.
A step.
And the curveball line toward the middle, base hit for Alonso. Marte around third. He'll come home with the first run of the game. And Alonso drives one into center for a base hit. That'll bring in Lindor with the tying run, and the ball goes all the way to the wall. Marte will go to third. Now 48 for the year, third in the National League. And he wastes no time driving one out to deep right center field. Back in the gap, Pages takes a look, and it's out of here. Pete Alonso with a 2-run homer. And struck out in his 2 subsequent at-bats. And he drives this one to deep left field. Forget that. That is way up in the pavilion. Pete Alonso with his second of the night, a 3-run bomb. 11-10. That's 11 losses in their last 14 games. Alonso drives one out to right. That's deep, and that is gone. Wow. Pete Alonso wasting no time on the first pitch of the second inning.
Cold and damp and rainy.
Punched the other way by Alonso. Coming on as Hernandez slides. He can't get it. Marte will stop at second. 2 out and 2 on. And Pete lines one the other way for a base hit. Marte around third. He'll come in to score. Soto goes first to third. 0-2 to Alonso. And he lines one into left field for a base hit. That's going to go up the gap and all the way to the wall. Marte is in to score. Soto turns third. He will score.
Would break this game open a little bit.
And he pulls one through the hole. That's a base hit. Nimmo to third. He'll be held up there as a more experienced first baseman probably catches that ball. Now Pete drives one deep to left center field. Beck goes back, takes a look, and it's out of here. Wow. Pete Alonso with a 2-run homer. His 2-2 coming. And he lines one up the middle, a base hit. So Pete's got his second hit of the day. 3 game in the 8th. And Alonso drives one to deep left field. Back toward the corner. It is out of here. Pete Alonso strikes again. And Pete drives one toward the left field corner. That ball is off the fence. That'll tie the game. Soto is in. Alonso racing for second. He slides and he's out at second base. Breaking ball hit to center field, hit well. Young racing back. He won't get there. Hops up against the wall. Nimmo digging for third. He will score as Young has trouble picking it up.
And he loops that one into left field. That'll fall for a base hit, and it'll go to the wall. Extra bases for Pete Alonso.
Nobody's chanting 1940 anymore. That's hit hard through the hole, and Alonso keeps his streak going. That's what I'm here for, Keith. That's lined down the left field line, and Alonso's got a base hit. White gets over to cut it off nicely. Pete's going to try for 2 anyway. The throw coming in. Alves makes the tag, and he's out. There's even after being denied that one. And he lines this one into right center for a base hit.
Didn't break much. Good at bat.
And now Pete rips one into left field for a base hit. So Soto and Alonso at back.
Pete Alonso with a high fly ball, right center field. Marsh all the way back. He's at the wall, and that ball is gone. Off the batter's eye, Pete Alonso.
110 miles an hour off the bat. Pete Alonso first pitch swinging, flips it towards shallow center. Marsh racing in, won't get there.
And gets another one.
Here's Alonso, hard hit towards Turner and over his head and down.
And Alonso rips one into center for a base hit. Soto going to be held at third as Harry. Your own zone, trying to be more of a hero. Drives that one into left field, and Verdugo will have to play it on the hop. Giving up 14 home runs in 15 starts. And Pete drives one out to right center field, headed out toward the gap. Back goes Acuna, and it's off the wall. On his way to third is Soto. And he does, and he lines one up the middle for a base hit. Lindor will come around to score. Racing for third is Nimmo. That's driven down the left field line. That's going to go to the corner. Soto digging for third. White plays the carom. Mike Salvo throws up the stop sign. Soto at first and one out. And Alonso hits a sharp ground ball past Connor Falefa into left field. Alonso at the plate. Soto takes a big lead, does not go, and is grounded through the right side. That's a base hit for Alonso. Soto pulls in it since May the 18th. Alonso drives one deep right center field. Cruz watches that ball hit off the base of the wall. Alonso heads for second. Cruz's throw coming in, not in time. They're getting down to the count, 2 strikes. And Pete whacks one up the middle for a base hit. Soto around third. He's being waved home. Churrio's throw coming in is cut off. Set with Monasterio's positioning on that play. And now Alonso drives one to the gap in left center. And that ball is off the wall. In to score comes Lindor. Soto to third. Put on a show in this first game of the series. Hit hard toward the hole. Off the glove of Volpe. Soto to third. He's going to be waved home. Dominguez makes the throw to the plate. Not in time.
I'm a loser.
Fly ball right field. Well hit. Judge going back near the wall. It's out of here. Pete Alonso goes the other way with a 2-run. First, nobody out. And Alonso cracks one deep left field. Forget that. That is way out of here. Pete Alonso with his second of the day. A 3-run shot. Away with 73. And he hits one in the air to deep right center. Back goes Mullins to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. Pete Alonso ties the game. 3-1 to Alonso. And Pete hits one on the ground toward the hole. Base hit. Soto around second. He'll stop there.
Off the end of the bat into right field. Going back is Caglione on the warning track. It's over his head, and that'll be off the fence. Pete Alonso rounds first.
Alonso drives one out of left center field. That's down for a base hit. Nimmo turns at second. He'll hold up there. And that's ripped out to left center. Forget that. What a shot by Alonso into the second deck. Self down. Little flare into shallow right center. It'll fall for a base hit. Arabesque. Curveball line the other way, and Pete's got himself a base hit. Waited nicely on that curve. Alonso drills one to deep right center field. Lee watches this one go out of here. Pete Alonso gets the Mets on the board with 23rd pitch of the inning for Tang. And Pete drives one to deep left center. Forget that. Pete Alonso 250. Pete Alonso had a 3-run homer back in the first inning. He lines this one down the right field line, and that'll go to the corner for extra bases. Throw coming into second is wide off McRae, and Alonso will go to third. That would require 2 tonight. He lines one toward the middle of the diamond. Wilkie with a sliding backhand gets up and throws wide. That's lined the other way, and Alonso's got a base hit. Soto stops at second full time. Here's Alonso, and he hits one in the air to deep left center field. Back toward the wall goes Martinez, and it's out of here! Pete Alonso, one away from the record. And Alonso gets a breaking ball, lines it off the glove of Arias, base hit. Lindor is in, Soto stops at second. 1-2 coming. And he hits one up the middle off the pitcher's mound and into center field.
Fly ball, deep left field. Going back is Collins. Darryl Strawberry, you've got some company. They're very happy. Alonso scorches one into right field. That's down for a base hit. Lockridge sliding, can't make the grab. Turning first is Alonso, and he's in sliding position. Soto off second. That one off the end of the bat into right field, and that'll dunk in for a base hit. Soto being waved around third. That ball gets past Lockridge.
1-2 coming. And Pete drives one deep left field, back toward the corner, and it's one hop to the wall. Alonso racing for second, and Pete drives one to deep right center field, headed back toward the wall. It's out of here! Out of here! Pete Alonso stands alone! The polar bear on his own private iceberg. There's Alonso, a double and a home run tonight. And he drives this one to deep center field. Harris goes back, takes a look, and that one's out of here. Pete Alonso adds another to his record. And Pete lines one into center field for a base hit. Lindor is in. Soto will score. He's staying down there the whole game.
I don't know what they're doing.
Alonso flies one down the left field line. That's going to fall for a base hit.
A 6-run lead disappear. Certainly a 5-run lead can.
And there's a base hit for Alonso to get it started in the bottom of the ninth. Pete
Not the fastball. Pete's got to be ready for that.
gets the fastball, hits it sharply past down into left center field, and the Mets will take the lead. Played by Rosarena. And Pete hits one on the ground, past Suarez down the line, and that'll get Nimmo home. Alonso on his way to second. He's got his 100th RBI of the season.
And this one towards the middle, diving and unable to get it is Young.
And Pete slices one down the right field line. Cruz running after it. That lands a fair ball. It stays in play. Lindor scores. Soto will be held up at third.
A call from Bob Costas as the Braves clinched the World Series in 1995 against Cleveland as Pete Alonso leads off.
The seventh, it would appear. Here's Alonso, and he gets one in the air along the right field line. Toward the corner goes Acuna, and it's gone. A home run. How about that?
So 2 out and nobody on for Pete Alonso, who struck out his first time up, and he rifles one in the left for a base hit. And it's the whole right side of the infield wide open for Alonso.
And he drives one to left center field. That's down for a base hit.
Hits or one mistake.
Yep, one mistake.
Line the other way, and Pete's got another hit. Castellanos in the gap slides after it.
Marte at first, nobody out.
And the fastball drilled deep left field. Back toward the wall. There it is. Past the dive of Wilson. Up against the wall. 2 runs will score. And the Mets take the lead. And Pete pulls one. Base hit. Marte into second base.
Second and third, nobody out.
And Pete hits him sharply past Bowman into left field. Lindor is in. Soto stops at third. That's golf toward the right center field gap. Marcy on the run, and he can't get it. It's off the tip of his glove. Lindor was going back to tag up. He'll have to stop at third. And Pete hits one deep to center field. Back goes Marcy to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. Pete Alonso ties for...
Came back to the big leagues in June, coming back from Tommy John.
Alonso finds the hole and gets it through for a base hit.
To get his body down to hit that pitch, he does go on his knee.
Fly ball right field off the bat of Alonso, back near the wall. It's out of here. Pete Alonso goes the other way.
Tonight, 5 in the first, 7 in the second.
Pete Alonso rips one through the hole, and he's got his third hit in the first 3 innings.
Now in right, here's Pete Alonso.
And he hits one to the right side toward the hole, and it's going to sneak through for a base hit. Soto going first to third. The throw to third by Weimer, and he is...
Runs in his first 23 starts.
And now Pete takes one the other way for a base hit. For the Tigers for Yoenis Cespedes. High fly ball, deep center field. Back goes Perez to the warning track, back at the wall, and it's out of here.
Wow.
Pete Alonso with his...
Now a stolen base threat.
And now Alonso drives one deep left field. Green goes back near the wall, leaps, and it's out of here. Pete Alonso with his second home run of the night. No catchers.
Well,
Alonso pulls one through the hole. That'll go through for a base hit. And Alonso Alonso hits one out to right center field, headed toward the gap. That's going to split him and go off the base of the wall. Lindor is in to tie the game. Soto at first and nobody out. And he hits one over the mound toward the middle of the diamond. Sliding stop by Torres. He gets up and throws too late. 2 stolen bases since they've been thrown out at second by a catcher. That's lined the other way by Alonso. That's going to find the gap and roll all the way back to the wall. Alonso digging for second. Friedel's throw coming in, not in time. Card in the American League. They've won 11 of 15. Curveball hit on the ground and just fair. It's going to hit off the sidewall and carry him out. Alonso digging for second. The throw by Kepler to second, not in time. And he hits one on the ground toward the middle. That'll go through for a base hit. A first pitch split. 1-2 from Banks. Alonso rips one past the glove of Kemp and into left field. Soto trying to get Sanchez's attention, and he hits it through the hole, a base hit. So Alonso swinging 3-0. And Pete lines a base hit into left field. Career home runs against Corbin. And he bloops one behind second. Freeman over the shoulder. Can't get there. Lindor read it well. He heads to third. And in a tight spot. Alonso drives one to deep right field. Headed toward the wall. That ball is out of here. Pete Alonso wins it with an opposite field 3-run homer. For 4 of the 9. He loops that one behind shortstop. Coming on quickly is Merrill, but that's going to drop for a hit. Lindor to third. He'll be held up there. With 11 games to go after today, he's got a shot. And now Alonso gets one in the air to deep left center. That is way out of here. Oh boy! It comes down to the second deck. A monstrous home run from. Oh hi! Alonso drills one deep left center. That's gone. Pete Alonso homers for the 3rd straight game. Alonso homered his first time up tonight. He drives this one into center field for a base hit. 6 home runs for the year, 119 driven in. And he hits this one deep to center field. Merrill goes back, takes a look, and Pete has homered for a 4th straight game. 1-2 to Alonso. And the curveball looped down the right field line. That's going to fall for a base hit. Lindor read it well. He'll go to third base easily. And now he's going to try to score as Cruz has trouble picking regular season game. And Pete meshes one into left field for a base hit. That'll bring home Lindor. Shot over the bag. That's a fair ball going down the line and into the corner. Alonso heads for second as Cruz digs it out. They will the tying run at first with 1 out. And a ground ball toward the middle. That's a base hit for Alonso. Hoping. And Pete hits one up the middle. That's a base hit. And Pete drives one deep right field. Suzuki goes back and watches it off the ivy. In to score is Alvarez. Soto stops at third. He made it in 2020, but there was nobody here. That's ripped down the left field line by Alonso. That's going to go back into the corner. Cut off nicely by Happ. That'll hold Lindor at third. Alonso.
Pulled on the ground, off the bag and down the line. That'll bring in Soto. It goes to the deep corner. Hernandez runs it down. Surgery missed all of last year. Fastball drilled toward the gap in left center field. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Lindor is in to score. Alonso into second base.
Drove in 168.
Driven out to deep left field. Back goes Hernandez to the warning track, and it's out of here. Pete Alonso goes deep. His 38th home run of the year. And again, the 2-2. Hit on the ground through the hole, a base hit. And Alonso gets the Mets started in the bottom of the 8th. Good at bat by Pete.